Hello, my blueberry muffins. What's up? It's a culture detective here, investigating your favorite albums. Right now as I'm recording this is June 15th, but by the time you're watching it, it's probably a few days later because I'm pre-recording it. Because I am at Seattle. If you're watching this right now, I'm at Seattle right now. So, anyways, today I'm going to be doing a quick, fast-paced, super speed mini albums review where I review a bunch of albums in fast pace. Vince Staples, Dark Times. New Vince Staples album, Dark Times, is released. I've been following Vince Staples' music since like 2017. And his music has evolved a little bit since then because lately his music has gotten more and more moody and more downtrodden and plain. And his last two albums are just very bland. They're very drab. But I can tell that Vince Staples has evolved further and take that moody vibe and that heavy subject matter and turn it into something actually solid, actually catchy, and actually interesting. The track Government Cheese, for example, with its watery pianos and wailing violins, sound amazing. One of the highlights of the album. Etouffee is a very toned down track, but it's also very catchy and danceable. I love the spacey beats. The track Justin sees Vince Staples do a little bit of storytelling himself, where he recalls a time where he hangs out with a girl just to see the girl introducing her boyfriend to him, which is just so awkward. The track Radio features some distorted piano keys and boom bap beats that I really like. Little Homies is a moody but simultaneously energetic track with buzzing beats. So the beats on this album are hundreds of times more interesting than the beats off of Vince Staples' last two albums. But even so, all together, the tracks still feel very low key and low impact. I mean, look at this album cover; it's just gray, but it's improved a lot since his self-titled. I'm giving his new album a 7 out of 10. Second album I'm going to be talking about is a new Sia, or Shia? Sia? Sia? It doesn't matter. Album Reasonable Woman. So I've been planning to review this for the longest of times, but I never really had the courage to listen to it because I didn't want to after her major flop with the film and the album music. But anyways, Australian singer Sia is back. I still remember when I was a kid and I listened to Chandelier and my mind was blown because it's such a catchy song. But unfortunately, Sia has long gone from that era because on this album, the vocals are great. They're amazing. She's good at singing, okay? I admit it. But pretty much everything else is subpar and cringy at worst. Every single track on this album is as explosive and as motivational and as epic as shit. I feel like I'm listening to Imagine Dragons. Immortal Queen, in its core somewhere, there's a good song in there, but the incessant screaming and shouting and the epic pumping beats just completely ruined it. Nowhere to Be. The production is so simple and uninspired, and the chords are so sterile, it sounds like a Christian pop song. Dance Alone is a generic disco song, don't know what it's doing here on this album, and the only track that features interesting production is the track Incredible, but only because Labyrinth is behind the production. So overall, this is a very uninspired album. It's so epic, it's so inspirational, it's honestly obnoxious, and I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm giving this album a light 3 out of 10. Third album I'm going to be talking about is the new Willi Carlisle album, Critterland. When I started listening to this album, I had a lot of high hopes because the title track slash album opener is fantastic. It is this wholesome, blissful country tune with prickly banjos and harmonicas, and it's a song about this promised land where everyone's happy, and it's called Critterland, and the chorus literally goes, "Take me to Critterland." I don't usually listen to country, but sometimes wholesome, lovely country music just warms my heart, it makes me want to groove a little bit. But unfortunately, the rest of the album is just decent, I guess. It's nothing too interesting. My favorite moments on the album are always the harmonica moments. I love hearing harmonicas. The track Great Depression and Higher Lonesome are highlights for me. And Jaybird is a fun little banjo tune that I really love. But the most interesting moment on the entire album is actually the album ending with the track The Money Grows on Trees, which is very interesting because I'm usually very underwhelmed by album endings. You're either doing the sad, downtrodden ballad ending or you're doing the epic, explosive, climactic ending. It's like there's no a third kind of ending. But this album presents a 7-minute spoken word track as its ending, where we hear nothing but his voice. And it's a story about an outlaw versus the sheriffs, but he touches on multiple topics like police, violence, corruption, and wealth gap. Very intriguing stuff. Strong 7 out of 10. The fourth album I'm going to talk about is the new Apathy album, Connecticut Casual Chapter 2. Yeah, this album is a really solid set of jazz rap and East Coast hip hop tracks. There are a lot of excellent beats on the album, also a lot of sassy delivery and strong flows. It's a really solid rap album through and through, front to back. I wouldn't say anything from this album really stood out to me and like made me go, "Oh my god, this is one of the best rap albums of the year." But it is really solid. It is very well written. The beats are amazing. The album opener, Connecticut Formal, is fantastic. We have some really urbanist instrumentals, dry boom bap beats, bold horns. It's fantastic, and I keep re-listening to this track. Other highlights include the track Vacation, which is toned down, but the moody keyboards and the chopped soul samples make it sound so downtrodden and chill at the same time. And then the track Never Change sees the sampling getting even more creative, where the song samples a melancholic pop song and the voice is so thin and distant, but then it's chopped up and turned into a rap beat and just sounds so freaking good. So yeah, overall it's not bad. Wouldn't say it's great, but I'd say it's a pretty solid rap effort. Strong 7. Fifth album I'm going to talk about is the new Gunna album, One of One. So Gunna is one of the most famous uh, 2 out of 10. The last album I'm going to be talking about is the new ickPuppy album, Carousel from Hell. So, ickPuppy is an up-and-coming new artist from Brooklyn, New York. And this is an angry, industrial, glitchy, electronic rock rap fusion album. And you know me, I love that kind of shit. But after listening to the first track, a correlation comes to mind. This is literally Machine Girl. Yes, so this album just sounds like Machine Girl and Death Grips. But my first thought was it sounds great, but I can't help but feel like this album is like the Greta Van Fleet to Led Zeppelin, and it's this album to Machine Girl and Death Grips. AKA it's a huge ripoff. But fortunately, after repeated listens, I still have to admit there are enough interesting ideas on this album to make it slightly differ from Machine Girl and Death Grips. And I still really enjoy this kind of music, regardless of how much it's ripped off its contemporaries. I mean, let's be honest here, this is her debut album. But yeah, on this album we have a lot of pumping beats, catchy hooks, lots of screams and shouts at only 19 minutes long, short and simple. Some of the tracks go extremely hard, like American Healthcare, Blister, and Chokehold, the album ending. The track Ketchup Mustard, literally straight off of government plates. and Lothario sounds more like Money Store, ex-military era Death Grips. And then the track X's is a more low-key track, but the beat sounds demented as fuck. So yeah, there's still a lot of amazing energy on this album, and I look forward to seeing her style develop more and go to a more original direction next time, perhaps. But I'm gonna be honest here, I love this kind of shit. This is the kind of shit that turns me on and makes me go cuckoo. I'm giving this album a light to decent 8 out of 10. So have a listen to the new albums from these artists. Also, I originally planned to review the new Mach-Homie album here, but I thought the album is interesting enough for me to do a full-length review on it, so I won't be able to review it until like a week and a half later. But yeah, what are your thoughts on these albums? Comments below, let me know. Subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. I gotta go right now. Bye. Bye!